Questionable Ethics, written by Calix Venteridge. Chapter 14, Doctor's Signature Part 1. The Town Hall of the Kirin Village, if you could call it that, is one of the largest structures they have. It's a massive, downright epic tree with a fat base and midsection that stretches high up into the sky, towering above the other buildings around it. Its treetop has vines that descend downwards towards the ground, and other vines that wrap around the tree itself like stripes on a candy cane. It also has wooden wind chimes that hang off many different branches at different elevations that jingle and sound softly in the passing breeze. All of them are way high up into the air so that they constantly pick up any stray breeze that passes by so that they may sing all the time. Below the hanging vines and wind chimes, beneath the branches that extended up into the treetops, are windows. The windows have red wooden shutters that hang from either side of them. They seemed old and could definitely use another coat of paint, as they look more pink than red. In fact, I thought they were pink up until I asked Autumn about them, and she corrected me. Beneath each of the windows are what look like Oriental Japanese lanterns, one lantern for each window. They hang there, suspended by a string, held in place by a golden pin just beneath the glass. I haven't seen the lanterns lit up before. I wonder why not. Beneath the windows is more tree up until it reaches the ground. The base of the tree is the widest section, the roots of the beast spreading far across the ground. Each of the roots are overgrown by grass and flowers, making this tree look very old indeed, as if it had been there for thousands of years. Around the whole circumference of the tree's base, minus the roots, is a cobblestone wall. This wall has spaces for the roots to exit out of, and it's just tall enough to come up to my waist. This wall has also been here for a very long time. Moss and other overgrowth have taken home in the spaces between the rocks used to build the wall. The whole tree seems like it's been here for ages. It stands as if it was the first one to have grown in this forest, making it the grandfather of all the life in this valley. Its seeds long fallen off its branches to make new trees beside it, allowing the forest to grow and expand forward from its roots. Who knows how long it's been since this forest was born, how long it lay in peace and quiet with the squirrels and rabbits, and how long the Kirin have made their homes here. A fountain out in front of the tree marks the start of the courtyard. It's a very basic structure in its design. It's a pond with a stone wall surrounding it, with lily pads inside it. A small group of koi swim close to the surface most of the time. I've noticed them actually playing with the lily pads from time to time, which gave me a good laugh once I noticed it. In the center of it, a chiseled pillar stands tall and proud that dribbles water out of its top. Moss and dirt stains the base of it. The pillar is chiseled into the shape of what looks like a dragon, curled up into an upward-facing S. The water flows from its mouth, making a soothing, trickling noise as it enters into the water, accenting the sound of the wind chimes nicely. As water flows down the dragon's body, the scales of the stone figure shine like a rainbow, even if the sun isn't shining directly on the glistening water. The rainbow colors that shine from the dragon actually aren't really a rainbow to begin with. A normal rainbow has all the colors of the spectrum. This one, however, only has red, yellow, and white. It's quite strange to see light defying the laws of physics like this, but it's probably magic. In fact, the whole fountain is probably magically operated, thus the rainbow. And plus, I don't see any electrical wires or hear any humming of motors while the fountain works day and night. The dragon's eyes in the fountain are cyan-colored gems, which also seem to glow despite the sun not shining on them all the time. Again, it is strange, but I've just chalked it up to be magic at work. What kind of magic it is, however, I'll probably never know for sure. I've asked Fern Flare about the fountain a while back, as she's the one who likes to research folklore and history. She told me that, as far as she knows, the fountain has always been here. It was here long before she was around, and it was long here before her parents were around. She said that she's really only ever looked into the history of it once. The reason she did this was because the one time she did, she couldn't find anything in their library about it. She visited Rainshine at the town hall and asked her about it after coming up short. Rainshine said that it was something called a Kapsuru, which apparently is their ancient way of saying the word capsule. When I heard the way that Fern Flare pronounced that word, a couple of gears in my head started turning. Her pronunciation of the word sounded Japanese, which after putting a couple pieces of the puzzle together, made perfect sense. Of course it was a Japanese word. I mean, the lanterns, the wind chimes, the koi, the dragon. I had noticed before that these cairns seemed very centered around a specific culture. A culture from my world. Yet, I just couldn't put my finger on it at the same time. But after learning their accent languages of Asian descent, I finally put two and two together. The cairn are Japanese or of Japanese origin, and once I started seeing the things in that light, lots of other things started making sense. The trees of houses they lived in, they were much bigger than their original counterparts, but looked like bonsai trees. Their market, and how they draped their stall roofs, tarps, seemed very close to old ancient Japanese techniques. Even the sign into the marketplace looked as if it was built in the same way, the footbridges too. Everything was designed to emulate a very Japanese feel. Are the cairn the Japanese version of unicorns from Earth? Honestly, it seems so. But with that in mind, the area surrounding the fountain in front of the town hall was laid out with cobblestone. The stonework was old as grass could be seen reaching through the path, each blade trying to get as much light as they could, so that they might live another day without being crushed by the overbearing weight of the rocks. This was the only place in the whole village that had stone pathing. Everywhere else was dirt. It almost seemed out of place, yet at the same time it made the town hall seem a bit more important than the other houses, which I guess is a good thing, even if it isn't used to the best of its abilities. The actual entrance of the town hall has a small staircase of stone leading up to it. Two large, heavy red doors seal the insides of the building from the outside world. Each door has a massive silver and gold encrusted clacker fastened to the outside, that most cairn use as a door handle with their magic. I do the same with my hands, but every time I grab hold of the handles, I feel this heat coming from them. It's a strange feeling, as if no matter how cold it is in the evening, the handles are always warm, bordering on hot. I choose not to say anything for fear of no other cairn knowing why the handles are always hot. The doors on the outside also have something carved into them. Symbols are different on either door. For the past week, I couldn't see what those things were, as I didn't know what I was looking for, and again, never asked. But now with the Japanese undertones in full blast, I could tell that it was Japanese calligraphy. I asked Fern Flare about these symbols, as nowhere else in the village were these symbols written. She once again had already done research about them and had come up short, and had gone to Rainshine about them. But this is where it got interesting. Even Rainshine didn't know what the symbols meant. She said that this was surprising to Rainshine, as if she had reminded her of their existence. I thanked Fern Flare for her help, and she went on her way. Of course, all of this wandering thought was sauntering through my mind a few days ago. Now though, this morning, I wasn't thinking about the town hall in that way. I was thinking about it in a very, very different light. For once in the past couple weeks, I didn't want to go to the village. I wanted to stay in my tent. I wanted to hide away from the morning sun and just be left alone till I could get my mind back out of the gutter. Everything in my body was telling me to turn back and just stay at my campsite so that I could just be left alone with my thoughts. But at the same time, something else was forcing me to follow Rainshine through the empty morning streets of her village towards town hall. Maybe it was the promise of someone that I could really talk to about myself and not just my ideals. Maybe it was just the way she talked and called my name. Maybe it was her tone of voice. Maybe it was me just seeing her again since the first time we met. Maybe it was the promise of tea. I don't know, but whatever it was driving me towards her, and as much as I hated it, I needed it. I can't fight this alone, and I've come to terms with that. But even if she really can't help me, it'll be nice to talk to someone about me instead of, well, me. Well, everyone, that was the first section of this. I forgot to put it in the start, and I don't really want to go back and do it. But I do have some important news for y'all. Unfortunately, Questionable Ethics isn't being continued by the author. I recently talked with him, and, well, unfortunately, he said that he's moved on from that story, so... The good news about it, though, is that I'm going to try to pick up the story from where he left off. Although, the last time that I heard a YouTuber try to do that, that YouTuber ended up dying out. But who knows? I'm already pretty small anyways, so it wouldn't matter to me much. Probably you guys more. Anyway, but to get on to thanking my Patreon. Thank you, Christopher or Hark Dubulus. I'm gonna keep saying that because I know that it peeves him off. And you'd only know that if you talk to us in the Discord server. So, take that as a mention. If you got Discord, go ahead and join the server. It'll be down in the description below. But that's all I got for today. Have a good day, everyone, and stay golden.